The inflow of foreign direct investments in Kazakhstan grew by 15.4%. According to Kazakh Minister of Investments and Development, Jibek, the value exceeded $12 billion in the first half of this year. According to the minister, 34 projects involving transnational companies will be implemented in Kazakhstan. The total cost is over $10 billion. The minister said that investors from Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Turkey and China are interested in producing industrial gases, lime, soda, steel pipes and cement, as well as processing potatoes in Kazakhstan.
Объем инвестиций прямых иностранных составил. Если брать статистику с 2005 года, эту статистику Нацбанк ведет.
If we look at the 2005 statistics provided by the National Bank, the volume of foreign direct investments totaled about $265 billion. The volume of foreign direct investments allocated to Kazakhstan is 70% of the total volume allocated to Central Asia. Kazakhstan is leading in this list. Over this period, 50 to 55% of the investments are attributed to the mining industry. About 15% of investments were made in manufacturing and other sectors. According to Minister Jibek, Kazakhstan is creating favorable environment to attract investments. The government improved legislation, simplified taxation, customs control, migration and visa requirements. Kazakhstan expanded the list of countries with visa-free entries. The list currently includes 62 countries. The minister also highlighted that a direct investments fund may be established in Kazakhstan to support large investment projects. An electronic declaration which has been launched in Kazakhstan allows submitting a customs declaration without leaving a home or office. A new information system which was developed in accordance with WTO rules, international standards and best practices facilitates customs formalities. This year, an introduction of Astana 1 has contributed to an increase in the volume of foreign trade turnover in the country. Comparing to last year, there is a 26% growth. Imports have increased to 14% and exports have grown to 30%. This is all due to the introduction of the electronic declaration. Next year, we expect same indicators and a possible increase in customs duties and taxes. The rail transportation also shifted to an automated process. As part of the digital railway strategy, new technologies have been introduced in freight and passenger transportation. All stations in Kazakhstan are connected to this control system. Since this month, carriers have been delivering trains in a pilot mode by electronically processing all documents.
По пилотным маршрутам Нура-Топар, угольный маршрут.
The paperwork for shipping has been started on pilot routes like Nura-Topar, the coal route, and the Ekibastus-to-Malorevtinskaya export route. Along the Nura-Topar route, more than 100 documents were formalized using an electronic digital signature.
Бумажного носителя с применением усиленной электронно-цифровой подписи.
Today, the current level of digital transformation of Kazakhstan's economy allows realizing a qualitative impetus in development. Many experts say that this process will allow the country to take a leading position in the world. Boosting exports of cars manufactured in Kazakhstan will expand the potential of Kazakh automotive industry in the upcoming years. According to chairman of Kazakhstan's Automotive Union, Oleg Alfyorov, Kazakh-made cars will be exported to foreign markets, including Uzbekistan, as part of the 2020-2024 Industrial and Innovative Development Program. Over the first 9 months of this year, the volume of passenger cars manufactured in Kazakhstan has grown by almost 83%. The enterprises manufactured 22,709 vehicles worth 141 billion tenge, including cars, trucks and buses. The demand for the domestic output has also increased. Kazakh citizens purchased more than 20,000 cars worth 120 billion tenge in the first 9 months of this year, which is 70% higher compared to the same period last year.
Отечественного производства и иностранного. В 2017 году состоялся это можно без преувеличения назвать прорывом.
Last year was very successful for the Kazakh manufacturing industry as 2017 marked the breakthrough in the exports of the domestic cars. The manufacturing plant in Oskimen exported to the Chinese market more than 1,500 crossovers assembled at the Oskimen automobile plant. These cars were very popular in China. Export subsidies should be provided for the successful operations at the neighboring sales market.
Может быть успешным только при наличии ощутимых экспортных субсидий.
Kyrgyzstan sets a goal to provide exported products with quarantine phytosanitary security. A phytosanitary control point has been opened in Bishkek, which meets requirements of the Eurasian Economic Union. Laboratory rooms are equipped with the latest technology. Specialists can quickly and accurately determine whether a product meets the standard and whether it can be exported.
Bizde hurma kelgen eкен. Бул Ош областынан келген hurma eкен. Бул жерде азыр кыздар карап атат.
Farmers bring us their products. We carry out the analysis, and if everything is good, we issue the corresponding certificate. For example, this persimmon was brought from the Osh region. A quarantine pest has been found. The products cannot be exported. In addition to 2 laboratory rooms where they conduct express analysis and the phytosanitary point, there is also a room for storing samples of quarantine products, special technical means, and chemical reagents. Not only a qualitative analysis of products is conducted in the phytosanitary point, but necessary documents are also being quickly formalized. A logistics center is located on its territory, which adheres to international standards. Having received a certificate of conformity, farmers can immediately export their products. Approximately 600 tons of vegetables and fruits are sold in the logistics center every day, most of which are exported. The logistics center has been operating for 2 years. Within 2 years, we have exported a lot of goods. We export from 300 to 400 tons of products. We import from 150 to 200 tons of goods for the domestic market of the Bishkek city, including the Chui, Isikul, and Narin regions. Experts say that the work of this phytosanitary control point will serve to increase the transparency, quality of provision of public services, and thereby create favorable conditions for exporters and importers in Kyrgyzstan. The one and only camel milk powder plant in Central Asia was built in Turkestan region. The factory has become one of the major investment projects in the region. The cost is 7.5 billion tenge. The huge production facility is provided with the latest technologies and advanced equipment. As part of the production process, the fresh camel milk is delivered to the pre-treatment shop for filtration.
Енді ең соңғы заманауи технологиямен жабдықталған, бүкіл жағы автоматизацияланған, цифрлы технологиямен басқарылады.
This workshop is equipped with modern technologies that allowed us to fully automate the production processes. The milk is first delivered to our workshop where it is processed by special equipment. Afterwards, we send the milk to the next shop.
Одан кейін пастеризация жүргізіледі. Ең соңында таза сүтті біз келесі цехқа жіберіп, сосын порошокқа шығаруға дайындаймыз.
The plant is capable of processing up to 100 tons of camel and mare's milk per day. The workers produce 1 ton of dry powder from 15 tons of milk. The plant produces the milk powder in special containers. One bottle contains 330 grams of powder, which in turn produces 3.5 liters of shubat. 90% of the products will be exported to China, followed by Central Asia, Europe, and the United States. This enterprise is a joint Kazakh-Chinese project. The plant will monitor the quality of the products that will be exported to the foreign markets.
Біздегі бүкіл құрал-жабдықтар ең жаңа технологиямен.
Our plant workers don't perform physical work since we use new technologies. Our professionals have to monitor over the operation of the automated system. Construction and installation works have been completed at the plant. The company is ready for the launch.
Қазір іске қосуға дайын болып тұрмыз.
Raw products are purchased from local farms in Turkestan region. The launch of the new plant will create a favorable environment for the rapid development of camel breeding in the region and the export of the traditional drink to foreign markets. The processing plant will be commissioned by year end. Kazakhstan is one of the first countries in the world to adopt a state-level strategic document on transition to renewable energy as the country rapidly develops its green economy. Today, specialists have successfully implemented a number of projects, including solar power plant construction in East Kazakhstan region that has a capacity of 30 megawatts annually. The project, worth 17 billion tenge, will start with the support of foreign investments. The station will be built on 66 hectares of land. Installation works have begun in the Zhalgistobe village in the Jarminsky district. The project completion is targeted by August next year. The solar power plant will provide electricity to local residents and neighboring regions.
2020 жылға дейін біз осы
By 2020, we must increase the share of renewables to 3%. This is our main goal. I think these figures will gradually increase in the future. During the construction of the station, there will be approximately 140 people. After the construction is completed, 10 to 15 people will be on duty.
10-15 адам кезек-кезекпен жұмыс істейді.
Елбасының бастамасымен экспо өткенде
We met with investors at the expo in Astana. It was there when we signed a memorandum on the construction of a solar power plant in our region. Now we have started the construction. This will be the first solar power plant in our region. In the future, we plan to build a wind station.
алғашқы күн электр станциясы болып табылады.
Kazakh literature is being promoted worldwide. Books by the best modern Kazakh authors will be translated into Chinese by China's largest publishing house. The organization publishes thousands of fiction books every year. The publishing house prints books in 56 languages. There's also a Kazakh language editorial office in the publishing house, which has been operating for 65 years. The Chinese party will work hard to publish high-quality translations. It is a great honor for the ethnic publishing house to be part of this large-scale project that involves the largest internationally renowned publishing houses. The works of the Kazakh authors will be available not only in China but also in the Arabian Peninsula and North Africa as well. Egypt's prominent organization engaged in promotion of the Arabic language and culture will promote the books written by Kazakh writers.
Мы пока не определились, сколько авторов казахстанская сторона будет.
The number of authors will be identified by the Kazakh party. We will provide assistance with translation, editing, preparation to publishing, and distribution. It is very important to distribute these books in Egyptian libraries, universities, and other facilities.
По библиотекам университетов и другим библиотекам.
The best linguists and translators will be involved in the accurate interpretation of the author's style and ideas. The Kazakh works will be translated into 6 languages of the UN.
На английском языке это издательство Кембриджского университета.
Our books are published in English with the support of the Cambridge University Press and in Spanish with the support of the Spanish Ministry of Culture and the Cervantes Institute, in French with the support of the Mayor's Office of Paris and the National Book Center. We also cooperate with the Moscow State University.
В Москве мы договорились с Московским государственным университетом и с их издательским домом.
2 anthologies of the modern Kazakh literature will also be translated and published as part of the project. The collections will include the best works by 60 Kazakh poets and writers. The works were selected by the Writers' Union of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan took part in the World Travel Show in Poland. The largest event in Central and Eastern Europe gathered representatives of more than 500 travel companies. The 5 largest tour operators presented Kazakhstan's potential. The routes are built to allow tourists to see entire Kazakhstan, not only Astana and Almaty. Our nature is impressive. Tourists are delighted by the mountains of Almaty and the Altai Mountains. Then when they come to see the west and see this combination of the semi-desert, balbali and camels, this generally seems like a miracle for people who have never seen it. In Europe, this is simply not the case. Burabai, the Charin Canyon and Baikonur, as well as an exciting journey along the Silk Road. Indeed, Kazakh tour operators have something to offer even to sophisticated foreign tourists.
Мы презентуем такие туры, как «Великий шелковый путь», которые на сегодняшний день пользуются спросом.
We present tours like the Great Silk Road, which today is in demand among many tourists. We also offer tours in Almaty and the Almaty region, which includes visits to the Charin Canyon, the Kulsai Lake, and other attractions of this region. For the first time, many tourists discover not only our country, but also they discover the potential of our country, since many of the sites are recognized for the first time.
С туристской стороны открывают потенциал нашей страны, многие достопримечательности они впервые узнают.
At the exhibition, representatives of the Kazakh travel companies treated guests of the pavilion with baursaks and kurt. The national dessert, the zhent, was also cooked for the guests. People at the Kazakhstan stand offer amazing desserts. Now I am going to try, but I need to wait a few minutes when the taste will be the most intense. There are delicacies which simply don't exist in Poland. Therefore, I immediately went to try. I have never been to Kazakhstan. Visitors of the pavilion were introduced to the rich Kazakh culture. They enthusiastically listened to unusual sounds of shankobiz, dabil, and sasirnay.
Бұл жобада біз World Travel Show'да қазақ халқының музыкалық аспаптарын таныстырып жатырмыз. Бұл сасырнай жайында айтатын болсам, оның тарихы өте көне.
At this exhibition, we introduced visitors to the national musical instruments. For example, if you talk about sasirnay, then its history begins from ancient times. It was found during the excavation of the ancient Otarar city in the 12th to 13th centuries. Bolat Saribayev named it as sasirnay. Foreigners are very interested and they like our melody.
Көрсеткенімізге үлкен таңғалыспен қабылдап жатыр шетелдік қонақтар. Бізге сол шабыт береді. Өз елімізбен мақтанамыз.
Over the past 6 months, a number of Polish tourists visiting Kazakhstan have increased by 27%. A visa-free travel and direct flights between the two capitals open up new opportunities for tourism development. The annual World Press Photo 2018 exhibition opened in Astana, featuring the best works of photojournalists from around the world. The collection consists of 42 pictures of the winners. Each picture reflects important events of last year, such as anti-governmental demonstrations in Caracas, first swimming lessons for girls in Zanzibar, the liberation of Mosul, and the effects of climate change in South Africa. Each picture has its own story. The winner in the Photo of the Year 2018 nomination was photographer from Venezuela, Ronaldo Schmidt, who took a picture of a burning man running in a gas mask during an anti-governmental protest. The exhibition will last for 2 weeks in Astana. The exhibitions will also be held in Karaganda, Almaty, and Shymkent.
The photo contest is judged by an independent jury, so it's industry professionals, photographers, editors-in-chief, for example, that come to our office in Amsterdam for a few weeks to judge the photo contest and decide what is the best photography of the previous year, and they depend on the news, of course. So what is in the news, that's what they have in the photo contest. People in distress, sometimes very graphic and violent images, that's part of the news, so that's also why it's in the photo contest.
Felting is one of the traditional crafts which were famous among nomads. Clothes, shoes, and household items were made of wool, and the yurt was covered with felt. Today, this traditional occupation of nomads is experiencing a rebirth, in many ways turning from a vital craft into a bright form of art. Botagos Tolej has been organizing workshops on felting. It seems that it is easy to master the craft, but in fact, working with wool is not a simple task which requires skills and patience. It takes more than 1 hour to create one beautiful flower.
жұмыс істейтін құрал жабдықты жаңағы жүн материалын біз жақсы сезінуіміз керек. Оны қанша ылғалды қалың болмаса қаншалықты.
A good master should feel the wool, how thin it is or how thick it is. The master should know how much material he or she needs and how to twist the wool. In general, if you make an effort and work with a teacher, you can master the craft in 5 to 6 lessons.
Өзінің жаңағы технологиясын ұштастырса, жаңағыдай үйренуге болады.
Осындай киіз басумен бірінші рет айналысып жатырмын. Бұл маған өте қатты ұнайды.
This is my first experience in felting. I like it very much. In this lesson, we have made a flower and weaved yarn of different colors to make the product multicolored and beautiful. With the help of soapy water and wool, we gave the flower a shape. Today, wet felting is popular and ideas of handicrafts can be very different.